Welcome to St Ark Designs, and in this video I want to show you how to create a logo for a cannabis dispensary. You shouldn't copy this exact logo, but using this video I want to teach you about the principles and the important pillars of making a great, client satisfying and consumer attracting logo. But before we begin, I would like to ask that you like, share, comment, and most of all subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you're notified every time I post. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. So first, what I want to show you first is that the most important part of a logo is that the name of the business and or brand and the logo you have created coincides with each other. So if the business's name has something to do with watermelons, your logo has to have something to do with more watermelons or something that is similar to that or something that gives rise to that or a reminder of that, or whether it's oranges, whether it's anything, even if it's a color, they should always coincide with each other. So to begin, when making a logo, I first want you to go on Pinterest or whatever websites and or software you use to do research on design inspo, inspirations for logo and all of that, and get a logo that speaks to you. It doesn't have to be a logo. It can even be a pictorial, an illustration that you want to turn into a logo. Anything that gives you inspo is something that we can use. So what I used as inspo is this hempire. I don't know, what is it, a logo or design inspo? I don't know what it is, but it spoke to me. So what I want us to do is to first create the H for the logo. So just take out your text font, not your text font, your text tool, and then choose a font that looks like the H or the H that you have in mind to use for the logo. Yeah, I think this one will do. So what I want to do now is I just want to adjust it. I just want to make the top of it a little bigger, the stroke in the middle a little bigger, and I want to move it to the bottom so the illustration that I'm going to put there fits. And then I'm just going to fix up the H. And when you're fixing up the H or whatever logo it is, make sure everything is proportional, make sure your proportions are very direct. If you're going to move it 5 times to the right, you have to do that on the left side by moving it 5 times to the left side, and so and so. So what I want to do is create an illustration of a monk type figure in the middle, and that monk type figure is what I'm going to use to put in the middle of the H on top of the stroke, so it can mimic that stroke pattern on the hempire. So that's what I'm going to use. And not behind it, I'm just going to create the weed cannabis tree around it, so it's clear that the H has something to do with cannabis. So I don't know why I'm using a monk for this. That's just what came to mind. Like I was telling you, the name should coincide with what you're talking about. So I just thought monk, saint, two words, same thing, same shit, different toilet, those type of things. So yeah. So now that I'm done using the Bezier tool to draw the figure. What I want to do is take my nodes tool and select everything that I've drawn. And then in the nodes tool in the top, you're going to see make nodes round or circular. It just looks like a circular node in pink. I want you to click that. And that's going to make the nodes rounded and circular instead of sharp and or corner or edgy. So since I didn't record the other part, I'm just going to update you on where we're at now. We have finished drawing the monk statue. So what I did is I added 2 more hands that look like they're coming out of his back to make the prayer hands sign. So it looks like he has his hands up in the prayer hands form. And now what I want to do with this joint vector illustration, I'm just going to use the trace bitmap to turn it into a bitmap and trace it. And then what I want to do is just put it here on the monk, so the monk looks like it's smoking. So now, like I told you, I put the monk in the middle of the H so that it mimics that stroke from the empire. And then what I want to do is just put a little more detail so it's convincing to the people that see it that this is related to a cannabis dispensary or a brand that has something to do with cannabis and or just marijuana in general. So now what I want to do is to show you how I created the typography for the logo. So what I'm going to do now is utilize the same font to write out the business and or brand name. And then I'm just going to adjust the letters to a point where I feel like they look good with each other. I don't want them to be too skinny. That's the thing with these old classic Roman fonts. They can be too skinny at times. So I just want to enlarge them a little bit and make the strokes of them thicker. Yeah, I think that's a good size for the text. Yeah, I think that's good enough, but don't really worry about making it indefinite because you can still make changes to it in the future time and still adjust properly what you need to adjust, whether it's the width, whether it's the height, whether it's the spacing between them, whether it's the stroke length, anything. So now what I want to do is just create some formations of the typography using the H. So I want to make the one with the big H, so the H will stretch down and be the same length as the Hazy Saint combined. And then I'm going to make also a couple more types, and not only does that give our customer and our client variations and what's the word I'm looking for? I'm basically looking to say it gives our customer or client a multitude of typography to choose from. So, and it also gives us a chance to so that if we're going to make a certain type of poster, we can use this one. If we're going to make a certain type of poster, we can use this one. For a certain type of poster, we can use this one. But what I want to stress is you always go the extra mile for your client. You always go the extra mile. So as you can see here in this clip, I have already created other variants of the typography, and I'm just going to fix up on some of them. But what I'm saying is you go the extra mile. Make sure when it comes to typography, you at least make over 5 or going upwards until 5. You understand what I'm saying? So like 4 or 6, but it should be in that range of 5, because that gives your customer and your client a lot of choices, which in turn gives you a lot of chances to actually impress them, instead of just giving them one type of typography with one type of logo, with one type of sticker, with one type of everything. Then if they don't like that one, then it's over. So at least if you know you have 5, you have 5 ways to woo them and 5 chances for them to actually be impressed about what you do. Because it's not about making the perfect logo, but it's about showing your customer that you have the capacity to make the perfect logo. And now in this clip, I want to show you how I created the favicon. So for the favicon, what I had in mind is to create a joint-like factor, and that joint-like factor is just going to be the words Hazy Saint, but they're going to be illustrated as a joint. So the favicon, we're going to use it as just a marking that we're going to put on posters, or a marking that we're going to put on the menu for the shop, or if we're going to do videos, it's just going to be a subtle marking that just resembles our brand. So when we're going to create a design that doesn't need like big upfront logo marketing, we can just use the favicon to remind everyone know that this is still our work. So to do that, what we're going to use is the envelope deformation tool. I can't stress that enough. That tool makes literally everything easier. But ensure when you're going to use that tool, you disable the option enable left and right nodes. Disable that option, then using the top bend path and the bottom bend path, just fit your typography. By typography, I just mean your font. Just fit your font into the joint-like vector, and that'll be it for that. And the envelope deformation tool makes this so much easier. So to create this, you can either use the same font, or you can just use another font, just so you have a variety of fonts to choose from. So when you're creating posters or anything like that, you can reuse those fonts. Yeah, and that's how easy the envelope deformation tool makes this. I just created vector, this vector-esque hazy saint joint design illustration, whatever you want to call it. We can call it what it is. I just call it cool. I just call it great. Just call it a good design. That's what I can say on my part. So now I want to show you how to create a pattern using Inkscape. So each time that you make a logo, what you need to do is make a pattern so that you can show your customers how the logo looks as a pattern. So to begin, what I want us to do is just go into the File tab and click Import, and import the logo that you want to make a pattern. What I would recommend is to use the Align and Distribute menu to align and distribute the logo properly on the page, center on the vertical axis and the horizontal axis. Then what I want you to do is duplicate the logo and move the other one to the left and the other one on top. The only reason I'm doing this is so the logo that we're going to turn from an object to a pattern is going to get a bit pixelated, so you can still have the logo you use. And then go to the objects path, to the objects tab, and you scroll down, hit pattern, then object to pattern. Then what I want you to do is draw a rectangle on your page. After drawing out the rectangle, I want you to click the rectangle, go into the fill and stroke menu, click fill, and what we're looking for in the fill and strokes menu, it's the third to the last one from, if you're going from left to right, it's the pattern one. And then you click that pattern. After you clicked the rectangle, that's going to fill it as a pattern. And then your pattern fills are going to show up when they write pattern fill. In the pattern fill menu, you just click pattern fill. And then to edit it, what I want you to do is grab your nodes tool. And when you grab your nodes tool, you're going to see now that there's two rectangles instead of just one rectangle to represent the border lines of your image. So those two rectangles, what they do, the rectangle at the bottom is the one you use to zoom in or zoom out of the pattern. The circle on top is the one you use to rotate the pattern, and the rectangle in your left corner is the one you use to change the direction of the pattern. And then it's just that simple. That's how you make a pattern. Click S to take your select tool, and then just center it on the page properly. Use align and distribute, center on the horizontal and vertical axis. And then that's all you have to do, and you have yourself a pattern. And then just save and export the file. Okay, so after creating your logo in logo variants, what I want you to do is to create 3 separate documents. And how you're going to title those documents: the first one is going to be logo samples, the second one is going to be favicon logo, and the third one is going to be word marks. And here we are going to use these 3 categories to categorize our logos so that we ensure that we have a multitude of logos and types so our customer can choose from. And then what I want you to do is to create a document. Make sure that it's just 1 page. Make it a bit longer because we are going to place all our design elements in that document. And that document is if that document is synchronized, then we have successfully created a brand identity. But since right now we have only made the logos and the pattern, we are just gonna split up the document like I did here, and then what I want you to do is to paste the patterns and paste the logo variants and the word marks, and then that will be it for this video. So thank you for watching, and I would just like to ask again that you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And the next video I'm dropping is on Thursday. I will be dropping the how to create a poster for a cannabis dispensary. And until then, stay well, stay blessed.